What's up, everybody? Welcome to a special live edition of the Dawgs podcast, coming to you late night here on the East Coast. It's just about 9 p.m. Hopefully, we caught you guys at home, kind of chilling, nothing to do. Friday night, hang out with the dogs, talking about the Browns. We're excited to be here with you. We love doing these lives. It's just the three of us right now. Justin's being dad tonight while his wife's at work, and he's having some struggles putting the kids down. So we got his placeholder in here. Hopefully he can jump in with us at some point tonight, but if not, we'll carry it for him. But hopefully Justin gets to jump in at some point.
I just got to tell everybody who, if you're in here right now, the best text message so far getting ready for the show tonight was everybody's kind of like, yeah, we're good. Justin said, well, I got one kid down, the other just came out riding a pony.
Yes.
We're like, I don't know if Justin's going to make it.
And if you know Justin's children, you're not surprised that she's the one who came out riding on a unicorn or whatever it was, because she's a little crazy.
Looks like Aiden Zapata. Welcome to the YouTube Dog Pack.
Awesome. I remember that name.
That's awesome.
We haven't really promoted the YouTube members in a little while, so I appreciate you guys joining that. While we're kind of like waiting for the lobby to fill up a little bit, remember, if you want to get your intros on the show, you can head to the dogspodcast.com, tap leave voicemail on the drop-down menu. Obviously, tonight we're going to talk about yesterday's game, the good, the bad, and the ugly. I think it's mostly good and maybe just a little bit of ugly, not really any bad. Before we jump into that, though, give Justin a little bit more time. Hopefully, if you're watching on YouTube and you haven't subscribed, please do so. You can also find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. If you prefer to just listen to the shows, you can find us on Apple, Spotify, and Google. Lastly, if you're looking for more Dogs content, head to jointhedogs.com, become an official Dog Pack member on the Patreon page. Fantasy football, the leagues are filling up fast. I know we had a couple people join. I'm not sure how many spots are officially open now. I think on the last episode we put out, we said there were 7 spots. And I know
I could tell you live, but just not yet.
Yeah,
I got to pull it up. Keep going.
Okay, so while he's looking that up, if you want to play fantasy football with us this year, make sure you get in. I believe this Sunday is the cutoff.
Yes.
And so you got a couple more days to get signed up, get into the Dog Pack, and then sign up for the fantasy league. It's a ton of fun. Right now we're going to have 4 leagues, plus Josh already has a dynasty league going on with some of the diehard members. You get access to the private Discord, which seems to be a hit for everybody. You get the extra episode every week, the Dog Pack or the Dog Pack After Hours episode. The After Hours episodes are a ton of fun. They're a little bit more laid back, loosey goosey.
Got real silly this last one.
Yeah, sometimes they're a little bit more adult. So maybe don't listen to the After Hours at work. We just kind of get into a little bit of everything on those. So if you want to hang out with us more, you want some extra content, you want to play fantasy football, just hang out with Browns fans from all over. Jointhedogs.com, become an official Dog Pack member. And then as Aiden did at the beginning of the episode, if you want to support the show for as little as 99 cents a month, you can become a YouTube supporter. And it's only, it's less than $12 a year for you, but it goes a long way for us to just help us keep up in the ante on the show. So if you want to support the show, you don't want to spend a ton of money, every little bit helps. You can become a YouTube member for as little as 99 cents a month. And we appreciate every kind of member we get. We wouldn't do the show if it wasn't for you guys. So we appreciate you guys being here.
Absolutely. Listen, real quick, fantasy's at 43. So we're trying to, if we can get to 48, that would be great. And heck, if we can hit 50, we'll do 5 10-man leagues. So we've got a couple days. Get signed up if you guys want to play fantasy. We had Devonta Travis, who is the newest Dog Pack member. He just signed up, I think, yesterday to play fantasy football with us and be in the Dog Pack and get to meet everybody. He's been a long-time interactor on YouTube with us. He's been constantly in the comments. We've had some great dialogue, great conversations about the Browns, and he decided, okay, I'm going to join the Dog Pack. So we're pumped to have him in there with us.
It was nice. Katie's able to join us. Katie's a Dog Pack member all the way out in California. I'm glad we were able to do this at a good time for you for once. Normally we were doing lives and she's still at work, that West Coast life. Andrew Jackson says I'm somewhat of a presenter myself. If you've watched the After Hours episode this week, you'll understand that. It was very funny.
And you'll probably just end your membership right there.
Uh, well, I guess we've given it's past 9 o'clock deadline. We'll hopefully Justin gets to jump in here at some point. Hopefully the chat fills up here, but I think we should just kind of go ahead and get into last night's game. I think the first thing we should start with, just to get it out of the way, I'm going to be completely honest. I didn't watch the whole game. I watched 3 quarters, and as it was getting ready to go into the fourth, and it was all like Mon was in and stuff like that, I was like, I kind of want to play some video games. I'm not going to miss anything much here. I'm going to turn this game off. And then at the time, I was feeling pretty good about our kicking situation. I was like, hey, he bounced back 3 for 3, only to find out right before I go to bed that he had a chance to win the game twice and missed both of them. And it's just, and I've been a guy out here preaching patience for Cade York. I mean, that's kind of been my thing, saying he's got a big leg. He's a young kid. The Browns have gotten rid of kickers a season early, before, and they go on to have really good careers somewhere else. I was like, let's be patient with this kid. He's got a ton of talent and a huge leg. But man, I don't know how patient we can be, because even his makes don't look good.
No,
and it's like it's not coming off his foot right. I don't know what is going on, but it's worrisome.
I posted a compilation video on Twitter today from our account showing each of his kicks from last night, and every single one, I said, even the ones that he makes, they come off his foot and they go right, left, right, and they just, when he kicks it instantly, it's like he missed it, and then somehow it like works its way into through the goalpost, and it's like, okay, cool, he made that one. And then when he misses, they're never straight, they're never up and in, and it doesn't look right. None of his kicks look right.
No, I don't. And I heard I don't know if it's true or not, but I heard something that he had only missed one in camp so far this year. Like he's like 59 of 60 or something in practice.
Well,
I don't know if it's verified. I saw that somewhere online today, and we talked about it a little bit. Like obviously he's kicking off a tee sometimes in practice, but they're definitely doing live kicks. And Kevin Stefanski has said that they've tried to put him in pressure situations in practice, like as much as you can for it being practice. But it's hard to feel pressure in practice when there's not another kicker on the roster. How much pressure could there be? Like even if I have the worst day of practice ever, I'm still going to be the kicker tomorrow.
And there's no score. It's not a game in practice, right? So you're right. There's no pressure.
Yeah, I mean, you can try to simulate pressure, but you can't really simulate pressure, especially in Berea. They're not even in the stadium. You can't. They can play music there, but I don't know. Like I've really been on the train of being patient with them and stuff, but I think I'm not screaming cut the kid, but at the very worst right now, the very least, you got to bring in somebody else to at least either push him, or if you bring in somebody else and they're just making everything, then man, you got to do. I know you don't want to admit already that you whiffed on the draft pick, and I'm at the point I don't even need anybody with a huge leg. I just want somebody who between 40 to 50 yards is going to make most of them, because right now it doesn't matter that Cade York has a huge leg because he doesn't make the short ones.
So one thing you just said there, though, you said it doesn't matter if the other guy comes in to push him and he's making everything. Well, if he's making everything in practice, what's the difference? So is Cade York, allegedly. I'm making everything in practice. So it's so tough to evaluate. I mean, you've got one preseason game left. Are you going to bring in another kicker and say, okay, you're kicking every field goal tonight, let's see if you can make them? Or do we just keep rolling with Cade? The problem is when he gets into the game, there's no consistency. He's 3 of 6 in the preseason for just 50%, and actually he's 3 of 7 because, like you said last night, he had a chance, and watching the game was so frustrating because he lines up, kicks the ball, and let's see, the first kick I believe was the push right. I believe he pushed it right, and then and there was a penalty on the defense. So it was like, oh sweet,
a BS penalty by the way,
and we're just like, great, we get a second chance, because even like when he kicked it, you could just tell he was like just defeated. The body language, he looked so down on himself, and it's like, we get another opportunity. They screwed up. We get 5 extra yards closer. That's awesome. and then he
A
pushes
41-yard field goal. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're
but
good.
It's 41 yards in the NFL. I mean,
Gotta
in
make
good
them.
weather. So
What's
go ahead,
what's
keep
the
going.
extra point? 35?
Yeah,
30?
because they kick it from the 15, so it's 32.
Okay, so it's not that much
They kick it
difference.
from the 15, right?
Yeah, it's something like that.
So 15 and 10 is 25 plus 7 for
The snap and
the
hold.
snap. So
Yeah.
it's a 32-yard field goal now.
Yeah, it just for him to line up and then miss it the other direction, even closer. Right there, because I saw another post on Twitter today. The Browns should be 3-0 in the preseason. But
yeah, which I mean, we're not the Ravens, so I don't care if we win or lose them.
no, but this is going to translate into the season. That's what
Correct.
I'm worried about.
The kicking game is for sure more than anything.
If we can't win close games due to kicking, I mean, our record is going to reflect that poorly.
I mean, I'm just wondering if there's any other factor at all, like second and third string special teams being out there and letting pressure get to him faster than the first string would, or literally anything. Because I want to like this guy, and I told Josh before we started recording, he's going to have a really good career somewhere if we cut him. Everybody knows that.
Yep.
The problem is this: I'm not on board with cutting. We've all talked about Zane Gonzalez, and we keep cutting these guys that don't do well, and then they do well somewhere else. The issue is we don't have time for patience, really. We need a good kicker now, right now.
Especially the beginning of the season is the toughest part of our schedule. Those are going to be grinded out close games. Speaking of Zane Gonzalez, he's one of the kickers that's available.
Well,
man.
I would bring in, I mean, and I don't know if they'll do this. I would bring in a kicker. I think Josh just brought this up for the final preseason game and just let him kick all the field goals and see if we can light a little bit of a fire under Cade York, because he needs something. He needs something to push it.
But that doesn't work either. You let another kicker kick all the field goals just to light a fire under Cade, and then are you still rolling in the season with Cade and still not knowing if he can do it?
Well, not if the guy hits, from 30, 40, and 50, then maybe you don't. But
that's the problem. Is we're running out of time, and the Browns just don't seem concerned about it, that's concerning to me.
I mean, they're not going to seem concerned in the media.
True.
You know what I mean? Like I wouldn't want Stefanski or Andrew Barry to come to the podium being like,
well, no, that's not what I mean. So, like Katie just posted in here, Kevin Stefanski said, not worried about Cade, rolling with him. We're not bringing anybody else in. That worries me that you don't even think you need to bring somebody in. It worries me that they're not switching up the holder to see if something else fixes the problem.
You don't think they switched up the holder in practice?
Oh, and here's the thing too: is you can say you're not looking to bring anybody else in. That doesn't mean they're not looking.
Well, okay, that's a fair point.
You know what I mean? Like people, you'll say we're not trading this guy, then you find out the next day they traded him. So that to me, that's just kind of like GM coach talk. I don't think that they're going to bring anybody else in. It tells me that they kind of think it's mental, and they're kind of like, we just need to get behind this kid and show support, and like help him get over the hump. I don't know. That's the way I'm kind of taking it. We had a Phillies fan comment on one of our Twitter things today that said maybe we just need to cheer him like for an standing ovation for like anytime he touches the field. They did that with it. It's been like it was either last year or the year before. They had a player who was really struggling or something like that. And then instead of booing him, I'm pretty sure like every time he came to the plate, anytime the ball, they just like went wild for him in the crowd, and it like turned around their season.
Well, so I'm all on board for that. Let's try.
Yeah. So maybe we just need to just like pump this kid up. Sometimes you got to push the pride button, and sometimes you got to, lift them up a little bit. And maybe we just need to kind of like, I don't know. Well, maybe he just needs a pick me up.
We'll be at training camp on Sunday, so maybe we'll get that started. Let's just, every time he even gets on the field or gets lined up to kick, let's just go wild and get everybody around us to go wild.
I'm just going to go up. I'm just going to run on the field and give him an attaboy. Maybe I'll cup it a little bit.
Oh, jeez.
What do you guys think? Dr. Claw 77 says, "What's up, Browns fan? What's up, man? Thanks for being here on a Friday night."
Yep.
There's a lot. High school football has started. For your young folk, there's the bars. I don't remember what those are like. Um, for us old people, there's a lot of things you guys could be doing on a Friday night. Instead, you're hanging out with us. We appreciate that. So that I think, in my opinion, that was most of the negative. The only other negative thing I can really think about off the top of my head is the John Kelly fumble
Mm-hmm.
on the first drive.
Yep.
I remember I like John Kelly, and ever since Stump Mitchell talked to us about how good he thinks he is and stuff, I've really been on like kind of pulling for him. But watching the game last night, I thought to myself, I thought he separated himself a little bit last night. I thought Felton took a little bit of a lead in the running back 3 department. Not just the fumble. I just thought Felton just looked more explosive with the ball. That was kind of my takeaway.
My initial thought with the fumble was, even without that fumble, I still think Felton's running back number 3 right now. So that's your 4th string running back fumbling in the preseason. So it sucks for him, but it's not like the Browns are in trouble because of it.
No, I agree. I was just thinking in terms of position battles. And even if John Kelly didn't fumble on that play, I still thought Felton just has looked like the more explosive running back so far this preseason.
I agree with you. I think Felton looked really good last night. Again, I was impressed. And we didn't really talk about this at all, I don't think, this past week. But the Browns did sign Jordan Wilkins. Played with the Colts the last 2 seasons, I believe. He's like 29. He's been in the league for like 5 years. Never been a big-time running back or anything like that. Bounced around a little bit. But I thought he had a little pop last night. He had a little juice. Nothing crazy. I thought Hassan Hall looked like he had a little juice at times. But overall, Felton was definitely the guy that when we needed a first down and it was, 3rd and 4, 3rd and 3, and they hand off to Felton, he got it. He picking them up.
I think he's been shifty, and like he can put a move on somebody. He's making the first guy miss, but I feel like he's just been running hard.
Yes,
like he looks fast, he looks strong, and he looks shifty. But I also feel like he just looks like he's running with a sense of purpose. I really think the move to just making him a running back this year has paid huge dividends for him. Like he just seems more comfortable, more at ease in the offense, which is good because we were excited when we drafted him. We thought there's a chance he could be a steal, and then he's kind of been a bubble guy the last 2 years. At least this last year and coming into this year, and I think he's kind of pushed out Kelly. Like if I had to pick right now the 53, I would say he's going to be running back 3.
Yeah. Me too. Here, real quick before we go on, Browns fans that are here in Ohio with us, we've got an unbeatable NFL preseason offer for you from Caesar Sportsbook. New customers get your first bet insured up to $1,250 by using our code DAWGSFULL when signing up, all one word. Not only will your first bet be completely insured, you'll also be directly supporting our podcast. So if you haven't already joined the Caesar Sportsbook community, now's the perfect time to make your move. Just remember to enter our code DAWGSFULL during sign-up and place your first bet. This offer is only available for new customers who are 21 and older and physically present in Ohio. Please gamble responsibly. If your loved one has a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Check the episode description for the full terms of the offer. Okay, on to the next topic.
Well, I've seen first of all, welcome Jim Kogar. Hopefully I'm saying that right. He's been commenting a lot on YouTube.
Yep.
So we appreciate you being here in the live with us. And I feel like we got to talk about this guy.
Sure, let's do it. We had to talk about him sometime.
Yeah, he says Austin Watkins has been a major find. Talk about the understatement of the century.
Yeah.
I mean, where did this guy come from? I don't even know. Where did he go to school?
He went to, oh my gosh, I just had this up. Was it, wow.
Like, I'm usually pretty good at this kind of stuff, but the guy has just literally come out of nowhere.
UAB.
Yep. I mean, that explains why I didn't know where he went to school.
UAB, but if I remember correctly, I believe he was touted as like a mid-round talent receiver coming out of the draft, like maybe like a 3rd-round pick type of guy. And then I don't know if it was injuries. I can't remember what it was. Something caused him to fall through the draft, kind of like that Sean Tucker, who ended up signing, the running back signed with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers this year. Watkins fell through the draft, didn't get picked, and then he signed with the Niners as a UDFA. But what was he on Tampa Bay's practice squad last year? I think too. And now, man, I tell you what, he's not going to be a practice squad guy.
No, like a lot of people are saying, hopefully he'll make it to our practice squad. He will not clear waivers.
Nope.
There's no way.
Nope. So,
you have a way better chance of Schwartz clearing waivers or even David Bell clearing waivers. This guy, he literally leads the league right now in the preseason in receptions, yards, and touchdowns.
Yeah, and he didn't even play the whole. How many quarters did he play in the first game, the Hall of Fame game? He didn't start.
No. So, yeah, I know he played a lot in the second half.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So this guy, he's put a lot. I keep hearing, he's not going to make it. It's a crowded wide receiver room. He's making – I would be shocked if he doesn't make the team. First of all, he reminds me of Jarvis Landry.
Just a little bigger.
Yeah, and he gets open, he catches things.
Everything.
That one pass down the sideline, I know that the touchdown was sweet, but it was, first of all, the throw was crazy, which we'll get to DTR. But you know which one I'm talking about, down the right sideline with where he got the ball in between the two defenders.
Yeah, the two defenders. Yeah.
Watkins almost like lulled the dude to sleep and then just like exploded into the gap to get to the ball.
What was underthrown, wasn't it? Didn't he kind of like came he like fell into the path of the ball?
No, he like went forward to it.
Okay.
I thought it was a well-placed ball.
Okay, so it was placed out ahead of
nice.
him a little. I mean, either way, because I put a video out today too of all his catches from the other night.
Yeah.
Wow.
Here, the thing with he had 7 catches yesterday, and I feel like he had 15.
Yeah. He had 14 targets.
139 yards on 7 catches.
I mean, how many guys in the preseason are getting 14 targets? You know what I'm saying? Like, he was the only guy Kellen Mond would throw the ball to. The only one.
Lakewood wide receiver 94 says Watkins won championship in the USFL.
Yeah, I believe that was here. Was that in the spring here? Yeah,
it was right here in Canton. I remember. So now it's ringing a bell a little bit I remember they signed a guy out of there. He is he's a stud.
Yes,
he's a stud. And I don't think he just has a chance to like barely make the team. Like I think he has. I'm not saying he's going to come out and catch 500 yards and a bunch of touchdowns this year. But if there's injuries, I'm 100% confident right now in him going in and playing well.
Sure, absolutely.
And if I'm looking at wide receivers who are going to make the team, I'm going Cooper, Moore, DPJ.
What about David Bell?
David Bell, Watkins,
Tillman, of course, Tillman,
and am I missing anybody? That might be it. Then Goodwin. And Goodwin if he's not hurt.
Goodwin if he's healthy.
I think Goodwin's going to be on IR.
I do too. I'm with you on that.
I don't think just because you drafted him in the 3rd, that doesn't mean Anthony Schwartz has to make the team.
No.
And I guess there's Jeremiah Grant,
Jakeem Grant.
But yeah. There's Grant. And everybody's talking about how he's an all-pro returner and stuff like that, which is nice. But I kind of saw something. I never really thought about it. And I don't know if teams would think about it like this, but there's the new rule in the NFL that you can fair catch anything now on a kickoff, and you get the ball at the 25. So is an all-pro returner like that important?
No.
I can go back there and catch the kickoff and just wave my hand in the air and get the ball at the 25 every time.
No, and I mean, if you're talking punt returning, DPJ showed last year he can do that.
Yeah, he's gotten a lot better at that.
And he's also listed as a punt returner on the depth chart right now. So I don't think we're too worried about return man.
No, yeah. So I understand the versatility of Grant, but I don't know. To me, I'm not keeping a guy who's not going to give you much in the receiving department just because he can return. When we have other guys who can return, maybe not as well as him, but even if he's a great returner, he maybe returns 1 for a touchdown.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's not like even the greatest aren't doing it all the time.
Basically, with punt returning, catch the ball. Can you secure it? maybe get a couple yards or whatever, just a little better field position. You're not looking for anything crazy. Just don't muff it.
Correct. Yeah. But no, I think Watkins has clearly played himself onto this team.
If he doesn't make the team and Schwartz does, then now I will start shifting my opinion of Andrew Berry a little bit.
Yes,
I will, because that's ridiculous. There's night and day difference between those two guys.
And I thought Anthony Schwartz last night made a couple nice catches.
I made a note. That said his first catch, it was a hands catch away from his body in traffic as he was getting hit. I'm like, what? He's never done that.
Well, and maybe Schwartz will be good in 5 years. But I just,
5 years, wouldn't that be his 8th year in the league?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I mean? I mean, it took Geno Smith a long time to get good, different positions.
Yeah.
Grant is a Tyreek Hill clone. What's wrong with that? Well, the difference is it says Grant. Yeah. He might be fast, but if he was a Tyreek Hill clone, he'd be a receiver actively, not just an all-pro return guy.
Right. If you're saying he's small, fast, and old, yeah, okay, he's Tyreek Hill.
No, he wouldn't be on the Browns because we couldn't afford him if he was Tyreek Hill. But
correct. Hey, if we're gonna kind of stick here with the receiving options and stuff, I thought Tillman. I mean, he didn't play a ton last night, or anything. He had 2 for 50, I believe, was his box score. But that catch on the first drive where he just kind of plucked it out of the air. It was a perfect throw by DTR on his outside shoulder toward the sideline. Plucks it out of the air. Body kind of brackets the defender on his back. He's just big. He's big and he's physical and and he's smooth.
I'm going to talk about this. Evan says he is a Pro Bowl returner. I'm going to get to it. He said, "Oh, we just talked about that, but I'm not cutting a guy like Watkins, so a guy who can return maybe 1 punt for a touchdown in a year to be on the team. He gives you absolutely nothing in the receiving department.
No,
nothing. He won't see that. He'll never see the field as a receiver. So, no, Tillman. I thought Tillman looked great in the Jets game. I thought he didn't play as well in the Commanders game, and then I thought last night he looked really good again. He looks so big and so fast, way bigger and faster than I even knew he was coming out of the draft. And he's a better route runner than I knew. He's not just a run straight high point guy. The dude can run routes. Mm-hmm. That double move he put on them last night to get open down the sideline was nasty.
It was Randy Moss, right, who came out and said that Tillman was the best receiver in this draft, in his opinion, or something like that?
Somebody said something like that. I don't remember who it was. He call me crazy. People have been bashing Andrew Berry for draft picks for some reason. Right now in the preseason, the Browns might have the 3 or 4 biggest steals of the draft and the biggest undrafted free agent signing.
Maybe a couple of them. Ronnie Hickman is playing really well in the secondary, and Mohamed Diabate looks like we got us a linebacker. Not worried about that position. We'll get to it, but yes. Yeah, Andrew Berry.
I'm making notes of who to remember to get to.
Yeah, Berry's just grabbing guys left and right late in the draft, undrafted, that are just they're making plays for this team.
I mean, you can make the argument that DTR has been the most impressive rookie of the preseason. Mm-hmm. You can make the argument that DeJuan Jones has been the most impressive rookie of the preseason. Yeah. You can make the argument that Austin Watkins has been the most impressive undrafted free agent guy, or Diabate.
What about and Luke Whippler holding down the fort at center? It just nothing. He's doing so well.
The steals are crazy, and I mean, you could almost consider Tillman a steal.
Yeah. 3rd round.
So the draft is this is, at least right now, early in their careers, this draft class looks crazy good. And we talked about this coming into the year without having the first round pick again next year, and with Deshaun's cap hit going to come in, and we're not going to be able to afford to pay some of our veterans that we're going to need to hit on draft picks because we're going to need cheap talent. Talk about hitting a grand slam.
I feel like our offensive line for the next 5 or 6, 7 years is kind of set. I mean, DeJuan Jones, awesome. Luke Whippler looks like he'll be just fine. I'm trying to think. Of course, we've got Teller, who's going to be around probably for a little while. I'm trying to think of the other guard's name. But yeah, Andrew Berry is building foundational pieces for the future right now.
Yeah. Rich Atkins, first of all, thank you for the $10. You guys don't have to donate to us. Obviously, we appreciate it, but please don't feel obligated. But we do appreciate your donation. He says, where do y'all think Harrison Bryant stands of right now? Is he hurt?
I haven't seen anything about him being hurt. I honestly think they're not playing starters, and I think he's
so he's just kind of shooting in right now.
I think he's a lock, unless he's injured. If somebody knows something different about him, let me know.
No, yeah, I haven't seen him, which means he hasn't been playing. And the only people not playing, if he was fighting for a roster spot, he'd be out there. You know what I mean? So, I think he's locked in to make the team for sure right now. We'll see, but
Katie says that it's an illness. You know what? I did hear something about that. He's sick or something. I don't know.
Okay,
but
Truth Senpai wants to know if we already talked about the elephant in the room. I'm assuming you mean Cade York. Yes, we did. When we post this as an episode later, you have to go back and watch the beginning. And Justin is trying to get his kids to sleep so he can join us. So we got the placeholder in there for him if he is successful. We're hoping to see him at some point tonight. Yeah, a lot of people are saying he's been out with an illness.
Okay.
If that's the case, then who knows? Because I know they really, obviously, Njoku, obviously Jordan Akins, and what's his name? Forrestall or what?
Oh,
I thought he's looked good. So, yeah. So we'll see. So I've been trying to keep up with you guys, all the questions you've been asking. I saw one. I forget who asked. They said, "What do we think about? Are we worried about Jerome Ford right now?" Talent-wise, I'm just excited to see him get on the field. I'm a little bit worried in terms of his injury because it's a hamstring, right?
Yes,
and that's one of those things that can just linger forever if you're not careful. So I don't want to see his season go down just don't rush back. And do it. How comfortable do we feel? I know Felton's looked better. He's looked good in the preseason. We just talked about that. Do you feel comfortable going to the season with Chubb at 1 and Felton at 2 and John Kelly at 3?
At this moment, after now, if you'd asked me like 3 weeks ago, I'd have said, hell no, not one bit. But after what I've seen this preseason, especially from Felton, we always knew John Kelly, he's a grinder. He can come in. He can do well enough. You know what I mean? He's not like a stud, but he's not a bad running back. And I also think that having Jordan Wilkins on the roster, I think is a little bit of one of those underrated signings. I think he's a competent running back that we don't need him to do anything crazy. We won't use him for a lot of snaps or a lot of carries. But if we need him to come in for a little bit here and there, I think he can do it.
I know we're all excited for Ford to get to because I was excited for him coming into this year. I think he's got a chance to have a really solid season behind Nick Chubb. I just hope the hamstring doesn't linger, because that's one. If you try to rush back, you might feel great, and then you come back sooner than you should, and 3 carries into the game it tweaks again. And now, ask what's his face from Ohio State, just went to the Seahawks.
Oh, Jackson Smith and Jigba.
Yeah, ask him what with hamstrings. He tried to come back too early, cost him an entire season. He couldn't get back on the field. So just play it smart and just don't rush back, because that injury can suck. Aaron Butler says, Josh, my man, I got 2 more moves for you. I know you were very interested early in the offseason. Here you are. Corner Ronald Darby and defensive end Jadeveon Clowney. You mean the Jadeveon Clowney that the Browns didn't want anymore?
I don't know why he thinks I was interested in the Ravens offseason moves. I don't care what the Ravens do. They take Clowney. Are you kidding? Take him. You got him and Odell. Good job. Old guys that are just coming for a paycheck and they're not going to give you squat. Cool.
Yeah, you got all the Browns scraps. You know what I mean? You got all guys the Browns didn't want anymore. Congratulations.
Yeah.
He was trying to clown Deshaun for throwing 3 picks in practice the other day. And I said, first of all, we're talking about practice. Second of all, Lamar has thrown 4 picks in a game before.
Yeah.
And guess what game it was? It was against the Browns. So what are we talking about here? Like, come on, man. Like,
Yeah.
you're better than that. You know how to talk crap. We've been doing it with you for a couple of years now. You know you can do better than
I know.
that.
There's sometimes he makes some
DF
stuff. I'm like, oh, that's not a bad point. And then there's other times I'm like, gosh, come on, man. But
DF sources saying that Blake Reneker is being brought in as a kicker. I think he's still using the same source that he used that said DeJuan Jones was no good. So
I'm not, no, I would be a terrible kicker. There's some things I could do on the football field, like sit on the bench. I could
I bet you'd be a good holder.
I could squirt water in people's mouths for them. I could not kick the ball. So some other things I had written down here. I wanted to get to you mentioned him when we were talking about free agency and draft picks. What do we make of this DeAnthony Bell, Ronnie Hickman position battle right now? Do the Browns keep 3 or 4 safeties? And if they're only keeping 3, or who's the odd man out right now? Because I get the sense that Bell and Hickman are kind of battling for a spot, but I also know that the Browns are high on DeAnthony Bell.
okay,
They like him.
so actually, before we started the show, you were getting ready, and John was just asking me on PFF, how many snaps did those guys play, Bell versus Hickman? So I had to look here. DeAnthony Bell played 63 snaps. He played free safety last night, okay? 63 snaps. Probably the whole game would be my guess, because the next highest on here is Tanner McAllister, the UDFA out of Ohio State, played 52 snaps, and he played at strong safety. So those were your 2 main safeties last night. Your starting safeties, Tanner McAllister at strong safety, and then you had DeAnthony Bell at free safety. Ronnie Hickman played free safety. He only played 14 snaps last night.
Yeah, you got to pick in 14 snaps.
But
I think
So
was
what do you make of that?
to me, that says that they think DeAnthony Bell's probably the guy, because he's getting the most run out there. They want him to be get the most experience, get the most reps, be the most prepared for the season.
I don't know. I take it as guys who are playing late in preseason games don't usually make the team.
Yeah, he played the whole game. That's the thing. Like, he played from start to end.
I know.
I don't
Well,
know.
how many free safeties were active outside of Hickman and him?
That's it. Those are the only 2 that I see. The only other safety that played last night was Nate Meters, played strong safety behind Tanner McAllister, and he only played 6 snaps.
Okay, so I don't know. It's going to be a tight battle. Obviously, we're huge Anthony Bell fans here, and I love the way he plays. He hits. He's all over the field. He makes tons of tackles, but interceptions pop. You know what I mean? And he's got 3 takeaways in the preseason. I think I don't know. It's going to be tight. Maybe they end up keeping both. But if you're going to keep 7 wide receivers, I mean, there's only so many places where you can stash an extra person. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know.
And I don't think D'Anthony Bell. I don't think D'Anthony Bell or Hickman would clear waivers. Like, I don't think either one of them would be practice squad players.
Yeah.
I think D'Anthony Bell has shown he's way too versatile, like in terms of special teams. And we saw in the Steelers game last year, crunch time, when they were driving down the field, he was in there on defense. You know, so like he's proven. So I don't know. It's going to be a tight battle. I'm pulling for D'Anthony Bell. I know Hickman went to Ohio State, and I love Ohio State, but man, I'm just a huge D'Anthony Bell fan. So I hope he wins that position battle, or they keep both of them.
He's kind of Superman on special teams. Like, he's all over the place.
Yes, and that's a big deal, especially, obviously there's an emphasis on special teams. We got rid of Prefer, brought in Ventrone. They weren't happy with the way it was going. So, like I said, I know the Browns like him. They're high on him. So I just the snap differential is just crazy to see him. He played the whole game. I can't believe Hickman only got 15 snaps.
Yeah, it feels like he was out there more, but that's it. So I mean, I could see what you're saying. Like, are they reserving his snaps because they want him on the team? They don't want him to get hurt, but at the same time, he's a UDFA. He's a depth piece. Either way, these guys are depth piece at the position to start out, at least. And why wouldn't you let the guys that you want on the team get as much experience as possible to get ready for the season? That's just the way I look at it.
Another guy we talked about a little bit, we mentioned, but how do you say his name? Is it Diabati?
Yeah.
Diabati. This dude, holy
I
cow.
love this kid.
First of all, he forces a safety,
Yes.
which we haven't even. I feel like that we're 30 or 40 minutes into this thing, and we haven't talked about the quarterback yet. We haven't talked about just the defense in general. So it tells you like how much good takeaways there were from last night.
Yeah.
This guy causes a fumble or he forces a safety, makes tackles the guy in the end zone on Kenneth Gainwell, by the way. So it's not like he brought down some scrub. The Eagles had their starting running backs in.
Yeah, they did.
And then he forces a fumble.
Yeah.
I think he had a sack or at least like a big tackle for loss.
Diabati did not register a sack, at least not on the stat sheet I'm looking at, but he did have two hurries on the quarterback.
One for him either.
Okay.
He had like 6 tackles though.
Yeah, this dude is everywhere.
Yeah, he played actually, I mean, PFF breakdown, he had let's see, 15 snaps on run defense, 7 on pass rush, and he dropped 29 times into coverage. So the dude can play all the things that the Browns want their linebackers to be able to do. He can do them all.
Hey, Hickman left with a concussion. That's why he only played 15 snaps. I forgot about that.
Oh,
I forgot about that. Thank you, Rick. We appreciate that. We appreciate your support. I feel like we found a guy who can play linebacker. And
yes,
how nice is this defense, man?
They've got that nasty to them. And these are the backups. And I can tell just watching the game, I'm like, hey, our defense has the nasty, finally. It's been so long.
It is so attacking and in your face. Our D-line, Mo Hurst looks awesome.
I love him. I've loved him since we signed him. He's one of my favorite signings this offseason, under the radar guy.
If he can stay healthy, talk about another find.
Yes.
Like, wasn't he a high draft pick at one point?
I think he was actually like a 5th round pick, if I'm not wrong. But he came out his rookie season. He was either 3rd or 5th. I can't remember. Okay. But he showed out the first couple years in Oakland.
He looks crazy good. The defense in general we're flying around. We're stopping the run. I mean, it's night and day. Jim Schwartz, if I ever have another child and it's a boy, I'll name him Jim Schwartz Reneker. That's how strongly I feel about Jim Schwartz right now because he's completely – the funniest thing I saw on the internet after last night's game was what I learned about this game is that Joe Woods is a war criminal because because of what he did to our defense and then somebody said thoughts and prayers with the Saints. So it's night and day. Obviously, I know the defensive line is better, and that's going to affect the game a lot. Like, if you can get pressure on the quarterback. But, man, Miles hasn't even played a snap.
Nope.
You know, we have yet to see Miles, Dalvin Tomlinson,
Shelby Harris,
and Zadarius Smith on the field at the same time. I just
those are good names, man.
It is going to be fun.
The defense is great. I cannot wait for week 1 to see this defense like in full starters.
Well, and then I mean Obo, Maurice Hurst, like you mentioned, Siaki Ika. These guys are going to be rotating in. I mean Isaiah McGuire, Isaiah Thomas. These guys when they're back and healthy. I mean, or Alex Wright. You know what? Yeah. Oh my gosh, opposing quarterbacks are going to have nightmares.
You heard Jason Kelce come out and said that our defensive line is elite. I mean, I don't take Jason Kelce's a Hall of Fame. He's going to be in the Hall of Fame one day at center. And he said our defensive line is unreal. That's basically what he was, I'm paraphrasing, but that's basically what he said after the 2-day practices with them.
DF just clarified my confusion. He was a 5th round pick, like I thought. He had pre-draft issues. He was supposed to be like a 2nd round pick. So that's why I was confused between 5th or kind of early pick. So, yeah, I mean,
he's had early round talent.
Yep.
Oh, man. I'm loving this live chat right now.
Yeah, you guys are awesome. We appreciate you. This is great.
So we've come all this way. We haven't even talked about the quarterback yet. I think it's time we should probably talk about DTR.
Yep.
I was excited that he was getting the start. He got to play the whole half. Completion percentage, maybe not where you wanted it, but man, just like the eye test, like we talk about at times, the guy just looks so calm and poised. He doesn't have, I mean, we watched our last quarterback, third year, fourth year in the league, happy feet, just double pumping on the ball. Not, you know what I mean?
Yep.
And DTR just looks like an NFL quarterback. He just calm. It's instinctual to him. He's not thinking too much. He has pocket presence. If it starts to break down, he moves around a little bit. He's more accurate than I thought. I think he had a couple drops last night, and I know he's playing against backups, but he's also playing with backups.
Right.
So I think he looks. I think he's earned QB2 in my opinion. I don't know if they'll do that. I don't know if they will because that QB2 spot. I mean, that means he's going in if Deshaun gets injured. Knock on wood. And do they want to give the keys to the car to the rookie? But he's been arguably the most impressive quarterback on the roster in the preseason game so far.
He has been. What I like about DTR is I'm trying to think how I want to word this. Like his mentality, his swagger on the field. He's not a cocky kid, but you can tell he's confident in what he's doing, and he's got some dog in him. When he goes out there and he's throwing blocks to try to spring receivers and running backs, and he's getting in guys' face, and he's just not. It's like he's not afraid. Nothing's too big for him. He's not afraid. He doesn't back down from anything. If he doesn't like what he sees, he knows how to go through his reads. He knows what he wants to do with the ball. He knows how to escape pressure, like he said, and make a play with his legs. Man, is he good.
This says he hasn't thrown any deep balls, though, has he? He threw a couple deep balls last night.
Yes,
the one down the sidelines to Watkins, the one to Cedric Tillman. Both nice deep. The one to Watkins up the sideline, that's an NFL. I mean, he put that just – he got it past the corner before the safety could get there. It was beautiful throw. He just looks poised. You know what I mean? Like just like you said, the moment's not too big, and I think he's got great leadership qualities. Like they talked about it in the game last night after John Kelly fumbled in the opening drive, which by the way was an insanely good drive by DTR. We were backed up in our own end zone, third and longs, a couple of them, and he just big throw after big throw. He was the first guy to John Kelly to go console him and talk to him like, hey, it's all right. He just seems like he kind of has a little bit of it. And I mean, he could be the QB of the future. Hopefully not for at least 5 years, but like he could be our Aaron Rodgers. I'm not putting him on that trajectory. You know what I mean?
But he's the guy who sits there, learns, continues to hone his craft and get better. Yeah.
Yep. And then when Deshaun's contract is up or whatever, if we feel he's, you know what I mean? Like, he's been nothing but a steal. He's probably been the most impressive rookie quarterback in the preseason.
I would have to agree. Now, of course, the other guys only got a drive or two or a quarter or a little bit in one game. We've got the extra game to look at. The other guys haven't played yet this weekend, so we'll see how they look. But I can't imagine anybody. I don't care if you were picked first, second, or fourth. You're not going to compare to what DTR is doing right now.
Just a little bit in this chat. Devontae Travis said all the talent the Ravens have for years and one ring to show for it since 2010. That's crazy, which is super funny. And then Aaron Butler said, Ravens cheated out of the ring in 2011, 2012. Should have went back to back. Patriots and refs cheated us. You are talking to the wrong fan base about bad calls and refs. Don't come to this chat or this show and talk about the refs. There hasn't been a fan base that has been screwed over by the officials more than the Cleveland Browns. I mean, look, Bottlegate. Go back and watch what caused Bottlegate, and then never talk to me about the refs again. Watch the divisional round just 2 years ago. Was it 2 years ago? 3 years ago? That hit on Higgins cost us a chance of the AFC Championship game.
We had the momentum. So we did. We were going to score a touchdown. Yep.
Yeah. So miss me with the refs thing. I don't want to hear it.
What
If
year
you
was
were
that?
if you were so good, you would have overcome it. That's what I always hear. Don't let the refs dictate it. If you were better, blah, blah, blah. So I don't want to hear that.
It was the
2011.
2021 playoffs, but it was a 2020 season.
Yeah. So another guy I think we need to talk about. Obviously, we talked about DTR, and we've mentioned him a little bit. Is DeJuan Jones.
Hmm.
If it wasn't for DTR and Tillman and Watkins, this guy would be the runaway favorite for steal of the draft.
Yeah.
Um,
Do you have that
I
stat I sent you?
Yeah, I'm pulling it up right now. So DeJuan Jones this season, 111 passing block snaps, 0 sacks allowed, only 2 pressures. PFF's highest graded Browns pass blocker, minimum 50 snaps. Apparently, he was receiving a significant amount of starting reps by the end of the Browns joint practice with the Eagles.
That's awesome.
So I kind of posed this question, and I don't even know if I believe it. I'm just asking the question: Is he that good? Is he so good? Like, is Conklin gonna be gone before? I don't know about this year,
We
but
just extended him. That's the
yeah,
thing.
but like, there's no way they knew they were gonna get this guy, and he was
Right.
gonna be this good.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, does he get offered up as trade bait?
I don't know. I mean,
Is DeJuan Jones ready to be your right tackle in a season which you think you have a chance to go win it all?
so
Do they want to do that?
I specifically watched DeJuan Jones on many plays during the game when I was watching. I just wanted to see his effort and everything because you see his stats and it's like I don't really pay a lot of attention to right tackle every play. I'm watching quarterbacks and stuff like that. The guy doesn't matter who's rushing him, and he was going against like what is it, Nolan Smith, and in practice it was Brandon Graham, legit edge rushers, and he takes on the contact and he bullies these guys the whole way through the whistle. Like he doesn't let up. He's pushing, he's shoving, he's blocking his butt off the whole time. It's kind of the opposite. It's like what you wish you could see out of Wills is what you're getting out of DeJuan Jones. Definitely on the effort side of things.
I wish he was a left tackle. God, I wish he was a left tackle. Um, do you have any of his run blocking stats? Obviously, he's been great against the pass.
So run blocking stats, as far as like PFF, there's not a whole lot to rate here. It says he blocked on 15 run blocking snaps. Okay, he had 100% run blocking percentage, which all of our linemen did. He had a 72.6 run blocking grade, which was third on our offensive line last night.
So it's not like he's one dimensional right now. He's not the highest graded pass blocking tackle, but his run blocking grade is 40. Like he's a well-rounded guy.
It looks like his run block grade on zone run plays was 59.1, so lower, but his run block grade on the gap run plays was 77.2. So he's a rookie. He's got places he's got to work.
I think Conklin's safe this year as long. Somebody said he's hurt. Is he hurt right now? I didn't know he's hurt.
I didn't hear anything about Conklin unless it was like a little thing in camp.
And I think Conklin and Garrett were mentioned in the same notification on the Browns app about leaving practice. I don't think it's major.
So here's the thing with Conklin that I just looked up his contract situation. So his cap hit this year.
Million.
What's that?
Conklin has a big contract.
He does. So this year's cap hit is only $7.7 million, but his dead cap is almost $29 million. So he's not going anywhere this year. No, next year's cap hit is $13 million, and his dead cap is still $22 million. So I don't think he's going anywhere next year. The first time we can actually get out is after 20 or is 25. Whenever we could save $5 million if we let him go.
So he's which in my opinion is not a terrible thing. He's he's played at a Pro Bowl level before, All Pro level before. Gives DeJuan Jones plenty of time with Bill Callahan to then come in and be an All Pro right tackle.
And if they can try him over at left, who knows? Who knows?
Yeah.
Says Conklin is in concussion protocol. I didn't know that. I guess I didn't get a lot of time to check on things before we got on here. I too had to do bedtime tonight with my child. I had more luck than Justin's having. Is there any? What have we missed on? Have we missed talking about anybody? Chat. Have we missed talking about
Yeah, I mean,
anybody from last night's game?
because we'll probably shoot to wrap this thing up here around 10. So if you guys want us to talk about anybody else specifically, let us know. The only like if we want to say, like you said, there wasn't a whole lot of bad. There was a little bit of ugly here and there. I would just say a little more ugly was I felt like Trey Sermon especially got to kind of assert himself a little bit in the run game. That run that he had for a touchdown, I feel like we had a couple guys out of position, missed some tackles, some lanes, but
At what point though? Like that was pretty. I mean, that was third quarter.
yeah, I know that's what I'm
You know what I
saying.
mean? And
You just like to
we know how good Trey Sermon is. I would say talent wise, he's probably the most talented guy on the field at the point.
true.
You know what I mean? Like that dude, not a lot of guys on the field were probably as talented as Trey Sermon at that point.
Yeah.
I actually remember I watched that play because D'Anthony Bell was the one trailing him into the end zone. And I thought maybe D'Anthony Bell was out of position. So I rewound it to watch it because I've been watching like a hawk because I want him to make the team.
Right.
He actually did. I mean, he did what he was supposed to do. He went in, took a block, forced a trade, cut it up in. There's just no help inside. So it says, I guess we can kind of talk about this real quick while we're getting, how much do you want to see starters then next week against the Chiefs?
Oh, did you watch the Deshaun interview halfway through the game?
It was kind of quiet because
Okay. I think they asked him if he wanted to play, and he said yes. So man, I don't want to see Miles. Well, I do want to see him, but I
Not
want
in
to see
that game.
Deshaun. I want to see Deshaun pretty much is the only starter I really, really care about seeing. Just for like a drive. Um, I don't think we need to put Amari Cooper in there either. I want to see some Deshaun to Watkins. I'd love to see that for the first possession or something.
Yeah, I'd like to see Watson out there with Watkins, Tillman, Bell, and just kind of see how that chemistry is looking. Because like you said, Cooper's going to be fine. We know Elijah Moore is going to be fine. DPJ is going to be fine. We're not worried about those guys. And Nick Chubb better not touch that field.
Is that Gage Tucker in the
Gage
chat?
Tucker in the chat.
Gage, buddy, I miss you.
Where you been, buddy? Yeah,
I haven't heard from you.
Yeah.
So
real quick, somebody asked about Rodney McLeod. Yes, he played 16 snaps at free safety against Washington last week. Had a tackle.
Okay. When we go back to starters, are you worried about the offense at all? I guess there's my thoughts was the one game the starters played on offense, the offense looked good.
And we didn't even have Nick Chubb.
And we didn't have Nick Chubb, we didn't have Joel Bitonio, we didn't have Amari Cooper. But there's been talks out of like especially the joint practices with the Eagles that the passing game has left a lot to be desired, especially when it's from the pocket. Like obviously Deshaun can improvise and stuff like that. But are you worried? Is it because we're being vanilla, or are you worried about the offense at all?
I'm not worried about the offense at all. I'm sorry, but I was reading the chat too.
Aaron Butler is an AI. He's like the prototype for ChatGPT.
You're not worried at all?
No, about our offense?
Yeah.
In terms of what? I did miss your question a little bit.
I guess the passing game has left a lot to be desired.
No,
supposedly.
because again, preseason vanilla. We're not showing anything in the
but I'm not talking about practice. I'm not talking about the games. I'm talking about practice. I guess it's not in practice. It's not looking that.
That
great.
was one report that just came out the other day. I saw that too, where they said Deshaun Watson's been unimpressive, which I just immediately dismissed as BS because everything we've heard from everybody else all offseason or preseason has been he looks great in practice. Yeah, in the videos, he looks great. So I saw that one report and I thought, where did this come from?
Yeah, he threw 3 picks, I guess, to the same guy, like 3 plays in a row.
And maybe he was just trying stuff, I don't know. If it happens in a game, I'll be worried. I'm not worried right now.
No, I'm kind of with you, Josh, but man, I'm always a little bit worried that the Browns are gonna brown.
I would like to see. I'm not saying he's got to play a lot, but I would like to see Deshaun in some of the offense, kind of like the Commanders game. If you want to leave Chubb out and Batonio out and Cooper out, that's fine. But I would like to see kind of that same starting offense from the Commanders game get like maybe a quarter
I wouldn't hate
against the
that.
Chiefs,
I wouldn't hate that.
just because I want to make sure it's real before the preseason. Let's get the kinks out or before the regular season. And if I don't know who the Chiefs are going to start, but if the Chiefs are going to play a lot of their starters since it's the last preseason game, I kind of hope our defense plays like a lot of starters because the defense has been dominant so far in the preseason. But I want to see it up against the Super Bowl winning offense.
Yeah.
So I obviously I don't want to get any injuries, but I think John said this: if you get hurt in like the 5 snaps you played in the preseason, how long were you going to make it in the regular season anyways?
Right. Your friend.
So I would like to see them play a little bit. Somebody said, do you think the Browns will be looking to make moves after roster cut downs from guys cut from other teams?
I think they're always looking to make moves, but at the same time, I think we've got our own situation. Like the guys that make the cut for our first 53 man it's going to be a hard decision.
No, I think teams are going to be watching the Browns. Somebody did say that we should be watching the Eagles running back situation come cut day because they got kind of a lot of good running backs, and depending on Ford's health, that's not a bad idea. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
Gage left a comment. So yeah, when you were talking about receivers, you forgot to mention Darden.
Yeah. So he's got Amari, DPJ, Moore, Watkins, Darden, Bell, Tillman. Yeah, I agree with that.
Good
I
list.
100% agree. So then what is this new rule with quarterbacks? How many quarterbacks do we keep on the active roster? 2 or 3?
3.
So you have 3, but only 2, I believe, count against the actual 53, and then the third is
Well,
like an emergency QB or
And he
whatever,
can never play unless both of your other ones are hurt, right?
something like that. Yeah,
And
like
then if the way I took it then is if like say one goes out with a real injury and then the other one gets his bell rung and comes out for like 3 plays, once he's good to go back in again, he has to come back in and the other guy has to leave. Like
yeah,
he's literally only there for an emergency. And this is just because they don't want to see like what happened to the Niners last year.
correct.
So if that's the case, then are we think it's obviously going to be Watson and then Dobbs and DTR. Mon's gone.
Practice squad.
Yeah, yeah. I would imagine he
I'd
would
keep him on
probably
the practice
survive.
squad. He does a lot of, he's not let's put it this way. He's not a absolutely nothing quarterback. I think he's a good practice squad quarterback.
Yeah, because I think he's pretty close to a nothing quarterback, to be honest.
Well,
But maybe that's being mean.
well, I mean, I did say practice squad.
Yes. No. So the biggest question mark will then be who will be the number 2 quarterback. Um, I would look to move Conklin and Harrison Bryant. Well, we'd already maybe it was before you got on. We can't afford to move Conklin this year, next year. His dead cap hit is crazy.
Astronomical. Yes.
So, well, we're a little over an hour now. It's 10 o'clock. Did we want to wrap this thing up?
I think so. I just want to honorable mention Tony Fields again last night. I think our linebacker situation is fine. I know that a lot of fans are freaking out. We need to bring in a linebacker. We need to sign somebody. They throw out a lot of names. With the development of Diabate and Tony Fields, I feel has definitely taken a step forward. I think we're okay, at least to start the season. Now, if we get more injuries, of course we got to do something, but I think we're okay to start.
I agree. All right. Well, we're gonna wrap this thing up. You
Appreciate
guys are
everybody. You guys are awesome.
Yes, best podcast fans in the world. Joining us on a Friday night. You guys, anytime we do a live, you guys always show out for us. We appreciate you guys so much. Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you guys for we come into these lives a lot of times with like a very bare bones skeleton idea of what we're going to talk about, and then we're just kind of like, well, hopefully the chat's going, that way we get more ideas, and you guys never disappoint. So we appreciate you guys watching, contributing to the show, anybody who donated or became a member. We appreciate all you guys helping us out watching this show. Again, before we get out of here, remember, if you want to play fantasy football with us this year, the cutoff is Sunday. I think we need 5 more people. So if you want to play fantasy football with us, head to jointhedawgs.com. Join that dog pack. We'll send you everybody who joins gets a message right away. We'll send you the code for the Discord, and we'll send you the code for fantasy football so you can jump on and register for a league. You don't want to miss out. We give away a ton of free merch when we do the fantasy leagues. There's going to be 4 leagues this year, plus a dynasty league, plus we do an overall champion of all the leagues. So it's a ton of fun for everybody. A lot of the people in this chat are dog pack members. They can attest to how fun it is being in the Discord, especially come game days. It's just hundreds of messages. It's just like being at a bar watching a Browns game. It's so much fun. So again, thank you guys for being here. Play fantasy football with us, and we will see you guys sometime this week. When does the fantasy football episode come out?
Oh, I'm glad you mentioned that. So Sunday, we did an interview the other day with Rich Dotson from Dynasty Nerds. Rich he's a huge Browns fan, so he came on the show. We were talking Browns players in fantasy football and just getting his overall perspective on the Browns in general this year, and then from a fantasy football perspective too. It was awesome. You guys are going to love it. So that comes out Sunday.
Yep. So if you guys are going to play fantasy football, or you just like hearing other people's opinions of the Browns, make sure you guys check that one out. It was a really fun episode to do. So once again, thank you guys for being here. Have a good, safe Friday night. Have a good weekend, and we will see you guys sometime this week.